behind a curtain or in a box where you'd have to look. And they might say, "Come see the biggest snake head you've ever seen," and they would have this. Um, they might say, "Come and see the only demon ever caught," and this is just the back of a deer skull. So there's just different things that they might have, that they've never seen before, and they would have them in different areas. This is a mole that was in our backyard digging a hole, and my grandchildren were watching it, and it just stopped, and they're like, "I think this mole like had a heart attack or something." So I went out and moved it, and it didn't move, and we picked it up out of the hole. It was dead, but I left it sit there for a minute just to see, make sure it wasn't plain dead, and it was. So they're like, "Can we put it in a jar and put it in the curiosity cabinet?" But I haven't changed the rubbing alcohol on that one. This is my cat's toy right here. It's just a pheasant's head they were playing with. This is Matilda. She's my bad version of taxidermy. They did really bad taxidermy back then, and they would take rats and mice and dress them up in little outfits and make them have tea parties and stuff. But she's my bad representation of that. And you weren't allowed to carry human bones. So so they would make a cast of things that, if they would see like a human skull or whatever, they'd make a cast and make a one made out of plaster. So, but yeah, so it's just different things. These are shark eggs. They're nurse shark eggs. They also call them mermaid purses. And then this is a little snake egg. And this is a little bantam egg.
I thought it was a robin.
The robin's eggs are smaller than that, but this is a bantam, like bantam chickens.
Oh,
And then this one is just a regular size of a regular egg. Little hummingbirds nest with fake eggs in there for that. And then I have different kinds of coral and shells um, for the kids to pick up and touch. And this is a horse skull that my daughter got out west. It was a wild horse that died of natural causes, and so the gentleman found the skull, so he picked it up and he had it in his antique shop. So my daughter bought it, and I tell the kids if they pick up the shells and listen, they can hear every shell sounds different when you pick them up and listen. This is my favorite one. I wait till they pick it up and I say, "That's a spider conch," and they're like, and set it down real quick. I said, "It's not a real spider." I said, "A snail lives in those for them." And then I let them feel the different kinds of coral, and I have some fossils over here. This is either a raccoon or a possum skull, and that one is a little squirrel skull. Then I always say, if you ever meet a starfish and you go to pet it, you pet it in its armpits, because if you pet it here, you'll poke it in the eyeballs, because this is their eyeballs on their legs and here.
Oh, wow.
And then one of the Boy Scouts told me that, and I never knew this, that starfish prolapse their stomach out it, to digest the food, and then they suck it all back in. And I never knew that either. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm like, you learn something new every day. So this one's a buffalo skull or buffalo jaw, and buffalo get new teeth if they damage a tooth. So they'll get new teeth at growing.
Wow.
So this is a brain coral. Obviously, it looks like a brain. This is a lace wing conch shell. And then some little boy came over with this. He said, "Did you lose some bones?" And I said, "No, why?" And he goes, "I found this. Would you like to have it?" I said, "Sure, but we think it might be like a cat, or I'm not sure. We're thinking a cat." So, and then that's a deer vertebrae. That's a deer jaw, knuckle bone from like a pig. So, and then this one is fun. It's nice for the just to see the nasal cavity of a deer is kind of interesting compared to ours. So,
So, what time period would this cabinet of curiosities been from?
they started before they even came to the United States. People that were wealthy traveled through Europe and stuff into different places to India and those kind of places, and they just would start collecting stuff as they traveled through. And when they collected stuff, they would have an entire room in their house that just was all this stuff. And some of them, like I did the macabre side of it, where they would say, "Come see the world's largest chicken egg." I also have a braid that's in a basket that has a glass top on it, and tell them, I said, me grand work for the queen, and this is Marie Antoinette's hair, because when you're executed, they cut off your hair at that time. So they cut off your hair and they put it in a box, and then they display it. So she didn't get her hair displayed. So me took her hair and bought hair from another lady who had red hair, and that's the braid is in the Tower of London in England. If you want to see that, if you want to see the fake one, that's there, and then this is the real one. You come here and see the real one. So it would bring them in, and then they would pay parts of the money you could break into 8 pieces, because we didn't have dollar bills and like paper money at this time. So
Okay, so what's in that jar there?
this one,
No, the one below.
this one,
To the left of the starfish.
this one.
No,
No, this.
on the table.
Oh, on the table. I'm sorry. Jelly-eared fungus. This is about 15 years old. You can see where it like connected to the tree. My daughter found this and put it in a jar. But jelly-eared fungus are edible. They're actually really good cooked. They're not very good raw, but you can eat them. So they're just a neat kind of fungus.
Okay.
But she thought that was kind of cool.
That's interesting.
Sorry, I didn't know which way. I was like, okay, this one. That
Yeah, I
one?
was here when you explained the mole and
the
the cat
mole.
toy. And
That one's. This is a fetal pig's heart in there.
what? Okay, I missed that one.
From
Fetal
I
fetal pig's heart.
Fetal pig's heart. So from a dissection, this right here is a little praying mantis nest, and so when they hatch, they make a chain all the way to the ground, and then they keep climbing out until you get to the very last one, and then that last one will let go and climb down the other ones, and the whole chain will just kind of fall and fold in half and fall over. But that's how they hatch. So they just make a ladder. So that's a praying mantis nest.
I do hope that one is hatched already.
It is hatched. You can see where they came out here. So, yep, that one's hatched. So it's they're really fun to watch. You can look on the Great Oracle Dr. Google, and maybe he has some drawings on there that you could see.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so different stuff.